I was walking crooked for a while because, you know, I had my arm raised and I didn't want to touch it, you know, scary stuff. Yeah, I don't want to be in pain. I'm traumatized. Hi, breast friends. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Shanne. Welcome to the safe space that I've created where we can discuss openly and without judgment the beautiful chaos that is living with breast cancer. So today, as you can tell by the title, we're gonna do a little get ready with me, a little chit chat, and we're gonna be talking about surgery. But before I begin, we need to address the elephant in the room. Or in my case, the bear in the room. Look. I got this while I was at UCLA for my surgery. This is, I don't think they have a name yet. They, because, you know, gender neutral. Leave me a comment. What do you think I should name this cute little bear? I will give you the backstory as to why they gave me a bear, because I'm like not 5 years old. But this bear serves a purpose, just like we all do in life. So let's get into it. We're talking surgery today, and what I want to talk about is pretty much like all of the surgeries I've had that have led like up to this point. So we're looking at my initial lumpectomy / tumorectomy, mastectomy, and my more recent pneumonectomy. So I'm gonna give you all a little behind the scenes footage of what that final surgery was like. It should be fun. Yeah. I probably should preface this by saying, like, growing up, I was a very healthy child. I was never sick other than, you know, getting the cold or the flu. This whole journey really turned things around when I literally had to be having surgery. Like, there was one time I had 2 surgeries within 1 year. So that was a bit of a transition for me, but I think we're done with that. I think if I were to have any surgery after this, it would be my reconstruction, my breast reconstruction, because I haven't done that yet. Okay, so we're gonna start with the very first surgery that I had. The first time I felt a lump in my breast, and you guys have heard me say this several times. If you haven't, if you're new here, you probably want to go watch some of my other videos. I explain my entire journey. But in short, I felt a lump in my right breast in 2014. I went to see a specialist about it, and then she said, well, you could remove it if you want, which I did because it was protruding and I didn't feel comfortable having a lump in the breast. Some people do have fibrous breasts. So most, if not, I don't want to say all women, I don't know the stats on this, but a lot of women do have fibrous breasts, and a lot of women are susceptible to getting breast lumps, which don't necessarily have to be cancerous. It could be just fibroadenomas. So I felt that lump in 2014, and my first surgery was a lumpectomy. Now, what is a lumpectomy, you may ask? It's pretty much where they go in and they remove the lump that you found in your breast. To prep for that surgery, it was a day surgery, so I was like in and out in the same day. To prep for it, I think I had to, okay, that was so long ago I can barely remember, but I think I did have to fast. But they put me under general anesthesia and had the surgery. That was it, and I went home like the same day, so I wasn't hospitalized for that one. Honestly, I think the worst part about surgery is the recovery. Oh my goodness. I went home with a drain to drain out the excess fluid. I have to, you know, measure the fluids after every day, or however often, but you have to measure the fluid that comes out of it. But for me, that was not the worst part. Like, having the drain, okay, yeah, I was walking like I was walking crooked for a while because, you know, I had my arm raised and I didn't want to touch it, you know, scary stuff. Yeah, I don't want to be in pain. But when I had to, oh, every time I think about this, I'm traumatized. I'm traumatized. I really am. When I had to have the stitches removed from the incision site, that was the worst pain I've ever felt. Plus, I have a really high pain tolerance level. So if I tell you that hurt when they removed the stitches, I mean, it really hurt. And I was healed, and I think that was it pretty much. So that was a pretty straightforward surgical procedure, I would say. The second surgery I had, I did it in Martinique. And it was also a lumpectomy, but I think they call it a tumorectomy. I don't know I guess there's some kind of distinction between the two, I'm guessing. The prep was also similar. I did have to fast, but in Martinique they do something different. So they give you well, they don't give it to you, but you have to buy betadine, or betadine. Well, in French it's a betadine, or betadine. It's like oh my gosh, the word is antibacterial. Oh my goodness, it's an antibacterial product thing. So I had to take a shower using it, and I had to go from like the head down. Of course, with that one I had a really early day, and I'm dropped off at the hospital by myself because, long story, I don't want to get into that, but I was literally on my own because I'm on another island. I know people, like I have family, but I don't know what happened. They couldn't be there in the morning because of course they have lives, they're working, you know, that kind of thing. And so I'm left there all alone. I'm very anxious because this is a surgery that I'm about to go into. So much so that when they checked my blood pressure before the surgery started, it was elevated. After the surgery, I was okay. Like, Martinique has a really state-of-the-art healthcare system, which is why a lot of St. Lucians tend to travel there to have things done. But anyway, so with this surgery, I did not have a drain, which I was grateful for. So they pretty much left the fluid in there, and I was instructed that the fluid would be absorbed by my body eventually. Now that kind of freaked me out a bit because I think I could literally hear the fluid in my breast. Like, if I were, and I was wearing I had to wear like sports bras or training bras. If I were sitting in a vehicle, for example, and you know, we go over a speed bump or something, I could literally hear the fluid in my breast, like oh my goodness, that was so weird. That's a weird experience. I don't know, I wouldn't want you to experience that. Okay, so now we're getting into the big guns. My mastectomy. I was scared going in. Not because I was scared of the outcome, but it's a strange feeling knowing that you're about to lose an organ or a body part that has been a part of you for so many years. It's very daunting, it's very scary even, and that's how I felt going in. I was really calm. I remained calm like all the way, and thankfully I had someone with me too. I had my cousin Marlene. So this mastectomy was done in Barbados. Boom, another island, y'all. I don't know, y'all. So again, I have to fast, and let me tell y'all, the day of my mastectomy surgery, I was actually menstruating, and normally for surgeries, you're not supposed to go in wearing any undergarments. So I told the nurse, and she pretty much broke one of the rules, and she just gave me like this giant sanitary napkin, like huge, like I have never used I've never seen one that big. It was huge, y'all, huge. So, so I had to use one of those for the surgery, right? And I went in, and again under general anesthesia, and it was okay. I mean, I guess it went well. I mean, I was asleep, I wouldn't know. But when I woke up, I was very relaxed. So much so I asked the doctor to show me pictures of, you know, the specimen that they removed. But of course, you know, I'm recovering from surgery, right? So I cannot get up to use the bathroom. I have to use a bedpan. And remember, I said I was menstruating before. So you could imagine me ashamed, and not ashamed, but I was like, how am I going to use a bedpan on my period? First of all, I've never used a bedpan before. So I'm like, I didn't understand the concept. How are you putting something on the bed for me to urinate while I'm in bed? That weird. Okay, weird. So I called the nurse. I said, I really need to use the restroom. And she brought me the bedpan. I'm like, okay, but like, I'm also on my period. She's like, okay, that's fine. Just normal. I'm just like, nurses are a gift. Absolutely. Big up all the nurses. Big up my sister who is a nurse. Big up my sister's friends who are nurses. Y'all, I don't know how you'll do it, but child, I wouldn't be able to do it at all. Anyway, so I went home. Recovery was tough. It was tough because when I looked in the mirror and I saw how I looked, like I was flat on one side, I was like, I stood in front of the mirror and I'm trying to, you know, place my hand there, and my body started tingling because there was nothing there. Like my brain couldn't comprehend, you know, something was missing, and I wasn't shaking, but it was a funny feeling. And of course, having to change the dressing and all of that. Too much, just too much, yo. Way too much. Fast forward to July 2021. And I'm preparing to have my pneumonectomy done. So much fun, yeah. The usual fasting, okay, yeah. So to prep for this one, it was different. Okay, so this time I'm in the US waiting to prep for this surgery, and first thing I have to do is wipe my, so similar to Martinique, I had to wipe down with antibacterial wipes my entire body. Of course they provided everything that I would need. I had to give them a urine sample as well because they need to verify that I'm not pregnant, which we all knew I wasn't, obviously. I also had to do these nasal swabs with the same betadine antibacterial solution. Very strange feeling. But it was okay, it wasn't too bad. So after I did that, I had to have an epidural inserted. Now y'all, the purpose of the epidural is to help manage your pain post-op. They insert, I wasn't able to record this, but they had to insert it into my spine, y'all. Into my spine. So they came in, it's like a whole team, so maybe about like 3 people. The one who was actually doing it, then another doctor to just talk me through the whole thing, and they came with this very interesting chair thing for me to lean on. So I had to lean forward, and they, with my head, like sort of like a massage chair, you know, if you sit and you lean your head like forward into the little opening. And they gave me aromatherapy. It wasn't candles, but it was like oils. So these oils, I think one smelled like tea tree, but it was like a combination of oils. So all of this is to help you remain calm throughout the entire thing. They were playing music, like classical music or spa music, whatever you want to call it, new age music. And, you know, again, everything to help you remain calm. So I'm waiting for them to do this, and the process begins. They don't tell you how much getting the epidural in hurts. I have never felt pain like that before. I cried. I cried while they were inserting the epidural, because what is this pain? Why are we doing this? That hurt more than when I had my stitches removed, because it's a different location, but it's your spine. I don't know how women do it during labor. I don't know how they do it, but hats off to y'all, because that pain. Does it work though? Yes, it absolutely works. So after my procedure, I was able to have one of those. Did I have one of those no, wait, yes I did. I mean, that's the purpose of the epidural. You could control how much pain medicine you need. So they give you like a button, you press it, and then it administers whatever pain medication you're on. I was comfortable the entire time, which I really appreciated, because it's a life altering occasion, event, and you want to feel comfortable afterwards. So I was at UCLA, for those of you who don't know, and I had like the best team ever. I have no regrets. I can't say anything bad about them. They were really the best. Very helpful, very friendly. The nurses, oh my goodness. Again, nurses, shout out to y'all, because y'all really do be taking on the brunt of it. Because trust me, after you wake from surgery, you're not the same person you were before you went in. You have an attitude, you feel horrible, and you just want to scream at everybody. But I'm not like that, so I didn't do that. But there are some patients who are absolutely unbearable, and I really do feel it for the nurses. So after surgery, I mean, they let you rest for a bit, but eventually they're gonna need you to start getting up to do things, to walk especially. They need to ensure that you have passed a stool. They need to ensure that you're able to urinate, because when you go into anesthesia, it's literally just relaxing the entire body, all the organs in your body. So they need to ensure that the body is able to pick up and get going again. So for a little while I had to start walking, and that was the worst part, because I don't know why, but getting up to walk after surgery is it's not fun. It's not a fun experience. It really isn't. But of course, they start you off really, slowly. They might tell you, okay, let's walk down the hallway and back. And it's hard. It's extremely difficult. And eventually they worked me up to being able to walk around the entire, like, there's a circle. The ward is pretty much a circle. So I was able to do like one round. That's a good sign. I was able to do that, but it was hard. It was hard. I was struggling, but I was also pushing myself because I'm like, girl, you need to get back on it and go. Now remember, I had a lung removed, so one of the things I had to do was, you know, try to rehab the other lung. What's supposed to happen is the left lung, which is my remaining lung, it's supposed to compensate for the fact that the right lung isn't there. So it would essentially expand to be able to accommodate me breathing comfortably. But that's like a whole process. Like, it doesn't happen immediately. And then what happens with the right side, now that there's nothing there anymore, it starts filling up with fluid, because that's just what the body does when something is missing, like an organ is missing. One of like the rehabilitation exercises I had to do was cough. And so that's where the bear comes in. The bear, I had to hug it while I coughed. So that's why I have a bear. And this really friendly gentleman who worked at the hospital, I don't think he was an orderly. I think he did something else. But he gave me this really cute bracelet, which he says he normally gives to patients, because, you know, that's nice, that's friendly, yeah. And the second rehab exercise that I had to do, which was again with the sole purpose of expanding the lung, was a breathing exercise. It's called an incentive spirometer. The idea is that you exhale slowly, and then you inhale, like you take a really sharp inhalation, and it's supposed to raise a little bar. So I did this while I was at the hospital, and I also did it for a while after I was back home. I spent about 5 days at the hospital. It wasn't an unpleasant experience. Like I said, the nursing staff and the entire team, they would check on me. Every morning the doctors made their rounds and they would check on me. And what else? The menu, oh gosh, the food menu, child, it was like dining out at a restaurant. So of course, after surgery, you're gonna have a myriad of medications and painkillers and antibiotics and whatnot. So I had a lot. So to the point where I had to get one of those pill boxes so that I could store my pills and remember to take them every day. And I also use this really cool app that allowed me to input the medications, and it would also give me reminders of when to take them. So I was very proactive in that regard. But I'm pretty sure at one point I was taking about 12 tablets. Like, I had to swallow 12 tablets. Majority of them were painkillers, and the painkillers, you know, it's funny because I actually had to switch. I mean, they really do be giving y'all addictive painkillers. Like opioids, honey, they do not play around. They literally pump you with opioids. But it wasn't too bad because I'm talking like oxycodone, tramadol, whatever you can think of, they give it to you. But I mean, the whole idea is so that you're able to manage your pain, so that you heal better and you're comfortable. So that was one of the things that I actually struggled with, because what happened was I was not managing my pain well enough, and as a result, it restricted me when I had to do that little breathing exercise with the incentive spirometer. So I would feel a pain, and because of that, I wouldn't breathe in properly. But all in all, the healing process wasn't too terrible. Of course, I had discomfort with the pain, and then I had to sleep upright for a long time, and I was really couldn't do much for myself. I really had to just learn to be patient with myself and, you know, respect the fact that I just went through a major surgery and I need to understand that my body needs time to adjust. My brain has already accepted it, but all of my other systems had to catch up. So mentally I was okay, but physically I still had to, you know, make adjustments. My breathing now is much better, much easier. Of course, I still have to do cardio to try to help really build it up. So I go on walks, like 20-minute walks. That's my surgery journey. I always wanted to do a video where I talked, you know, about my surgery, and this was it. If you have any questions, you already know, you can ask me in the comments. And of course, we are in October and this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So I'm gonna emphasize that each and every one of you watching this video, check your breasts and of course, check your pecs, okay?